What if we say that all Asians, Europeans, Americans, Australians, and every human present on Earth have their roots in Africa? This might seem unreal because Black Africans seem very different from the so-called white Europeans and Westerners. Moreover, the West has tried strengthening the false argument that they are a totally different race than Africans. That's because only in that way can they call Africans inferior. Yet, despite all propaganda, the truth cannot be changed. It's an established fact that humanity and everything began in Africa. From there, humans migrated and reached different parts of the world, which became the basis of the out of Africa theory. But how did that start? How was human life created in Africa, and how did humans begin to realize their existence and develop? Welcome to a new episode of Black Africa Diary, a channel where we talk about Black African history, culture, arts, and civilization. It's a place where you will see the real picture of Black Africa, its stories, and the events defining it. In this episode, we will tell you how humankind and everything began in Africa. Let's get started. Africa is the cradle of humankind because it's the birthplace of the earliest humans. The human ascent in Africa spans millions of years and is characterized by remarkable evolutionary progress and adaptations. Beginning with the emergence of early hominids like Ardipithecus and Australopithecus roughly 4 to 6 million years ago. These bipedal beings acclimated to diverse environments living in woodlands and grasslands. Around 2.5 to 2 million years ago, a pivotal development unfolded with Homo habilis introducing stone tools into the archaeological record. This innovation allowed early humans to access novel food sources and modify their surroundings. The subsequent emergence of Homo erectus, approximately 1.8 million years ago, marked a species with an expanded brain and more sophisticated tools, believed to be the initial hominin to migrate out of Africa, spreading into Eurasia and beyond. As time progressed, African human cultures evolved towards increasing complexity, showcasing evidence of social structures, symbolic behavior, and artistic expression. Notably, archaeological sites like Blombos Cave in South Africa yielded engraved ochre and shell beads dating back over 70,000 years. The emergence of Homo sapiens, anatomically modern humans, is estimated to have occurred in Africa around 200,000 years ago. These early Homo sapiens demonstrated advanced cognitive abilities, including language and the development of complex social networks. The migration of Homo sapiens unfolded gradually, spanning Africa and eventually extending beyond the continent. Coastal routes were followed, and adaptations to diverse environments occurred. Evidence indicates migration to the Middle East approximately 100,000 years ago, with subsequent expansions into Europe, Asia, and other regions. Early humans in Africa depended heavily on a hunter-gatherer way of life for survival. Hunting provided essential meat while gathering supplied a variety of plant-based foods. They developed advanced hunting techniques using tools like spears, clubs, and, later on, bows and arrows. Gathering required extensive knowledge of local flora to identify edible plants, roots, fruits, and nuts. The lifestyle of early humans was characterized by mobility, as they followed the seasonal movements of animals and plants. This constant movement allowed them to sustainably use resources and avoid overexploiting local environments. Tool use and innovation were crucial for early human survival. Stone tools, first crafted by Homo habilis and later refined by Homo erectus, were essential for tasks such as butchering animals, processing plants, and digging for roots. Tool technology evolved over time, introducing innovations such as bone tools, harpoons, and fish hooks. It's believed that early human groups likely had simple social structures based on kinship and cooperation. Families or small clans worked together in activities such as hunting, gathering, and defense against potential threats. Division of labor within these groups may have been based on factors such as age, gender, or skill level. Communication among early humans involved vocalizations, gestures, and early forms of language. Effective communication was essential for coordinating activities, sharing resource information, and building social bonds. Shelters and settlements initially consisted of temporary structures made from materials like branches, leaves, and animal hides. These shelters protected hunting and gathering expeditions. As populations grew and settlements became more permanent, structures evolved into more sophisticated dwellings like huts. The mastery of fire was a significant advancement for early humans. Fire provided warmth, light, and protection from predators, allowing them to inhabit a wider range of habitats. Cooking over an open flame also improved food digestibility and nutritional value. What's more, early humans engaged in symbolic and cultural practices, as evidenced by engraved artifacts, cave paintings, and personal ornaments. These practices reflected the development of cognitive abilities and social dynamics, showing early forms of symbolic thinking and cultural expression. Adaptation to diverse environments across Africa was vital for survival. Early humans efficiently exploited resources in various habitats, including savannas, forests, and river valleys. This adaptability led to cultural and technological innovations. Despite facing health challenges like injuries, diseases, and nutritional deficiencies, early humans relied on their knowledge of the environment, adaptive skills, and social networks for overall well-being and resilience. But let's explore how humanity and everything began in Africa in detail and investigate whether it's true or not. At the heart of our inquiry lies the Book of Genesis, a story that has fascinated mankind for generations. Central to this history is the Garden of Eden, a blissful paradise where the first humans, Adam and Eve, lived in harmony with nature. While the biblical text doesn't specify Eden's location, various theories suggest its possible link to Africa. Geological evidence suggests that the rivers mentioned in Genesis may have flowed through African territories, indicating Africa as the cradle of humanity. Following the biblical timeline, humanity experiences a revival after the Great Flood through Noah's descendants, especially his son Ham. Ham's lineage, considered the ancestor of various nations, including the Cushites, Egyptians, and Canaanites, underscores Africa's pivotal role in shaping human civilization. The echoes of Africa's history reverberate through the tales passed down through generations, highlighting the enduring legacy of its ancient civilizations. Egypt, renowned as the land of the pharaohs, plays a prominent role in biblical narratives as a refuge and a source of divine revelation. The story of Joseph, who endured slavery but rose to prominence in Egypt, exemplifies the lasting impact of this ancient civilization. Even Jesus, in his infancy, sought sanctuary in Egypt to escape King Herod's persecution, emphasizing Egypt's importance as a sanctuary in times of crisis. In this context, Ethiopia plays a significant role in biblical history. The Ethiopian eunuch emerges as a poignant figure, baptized by Philip the Evangelist. Many historians consider him the first African to convert to Christianity, marking a pivotal moment in spreading the faith throughout Africa. Additionally, Ethiopia's Queen of Sheba is revered for her visit to King Solomon. Moses, a central figure in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, also has deep ties to Africa. The Bible says that Moses married an Ethiopian woman, highlighting another connection between biblical narratives and the African continent. You should know that Moses, one of the most significant figures in the Old Testament, was born and raised in Egypt. The book of Exodus recounts his adoption by the Pharaoh's daughter and his upbringing in the Egyptian royal court. Later in life, Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt in the renowned Exodus, further solidifying the bond between the Jewish narrative and Africa. Another pivotal figure, Joseph, also had strong connections to Egypt. Sold into slavery by his brothers, Joseph eventually rose to become the governor of Egypt, as recounted in Genesis 41. His journey underscores Egypt's central role in his personal transformation and his family's survival during a devastating famine. King David, renowned for his military conquests and leadership over a unified kingdom of Israel and Judah, also has ties to Africa. His great-grandmother Ruth was from Moab, an ancient nation culturally and politically aligned with Egypt. Though indirectly, this connection intertwines King David with the broader African narrative. One of the most intriguing narratives linking Africa and biblical accounts is the tale of the Queen of Sheba's visit to King Solomon in Jerusalem. While the exact location of Sheba continues to spark debate, various traditions lean towards modern-day Ethiopia. According to Ethiopian lore, Menelik, the offspring of the Queen of Sheba and Solomon, is credited with bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Ethiopia, where it is believed to remain today. These ancestral ties and geographical correlations of prominent biblical figures further emphasize the deep connection between biblical stories and the African continent. The theory of a concealed African identity in the Bible, championed by theologians and scholars, suggests that many biblical personalities and nations may have had African origins, their identities possibly obscured or altered over time, due to socio-political dynamics. One academic, Dr. Kane Hope Felder, investigated this concept in his work Troubling Biblical Waters: Race, Class, and Family, shedding light on the African heritage of biblical characters and nations. Felder and others argue that Eurocentric interpretations of the Bible have often overlooked or underestimated the significant African presence in these narratives. An example of this obscured African identity is evident in the biblical figure of Zipporah, Moses' wife, who belonged to the Midianite tribe. The Midianites are thought to have originated from Cush, located in Africa. Similarly, the mention of Cushites in the Bible typically refers to individuals from the land of Cush, often linked with regions in Africa south of Egypt. Additionally, the concept of Ham, Noah's son, is commonly associated with the genesis of African peoples. According to Genesis 10:6, Ham's offspring were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Mizraim is frequently associated with ancient Egypt, while Cush is traditionally tied to regions in Africa south of Egypt, including Sudan and Ethiopia. This lineage underscores the deep-rooted connections between Africa and the biblical narrative. The notion of Africa's presence in the Bible extends to biblical prophecy. Africa has played a pivotal role in fulfilling various biblical prophecies, further intertwining the continent with the biblical storyline. For instance, the prophecy in Genesis 15:13-14, forecasting the enslavement and eventual liberation of the Israelites, unfolded in Egypt, an African nation. Moreover, prophecies in the books of Ezekiel and Daniel make reference to African locations and rulers, weaving Africa's history into prophetic narratives. By unveiling the hidden African identities within the Bible, we come to recognize that the roots of biblical history may be more intertwined with Africa than previously acknowledged, an aspect often underestimated but undeniably significant. Biblical prophecies predicting pivotal events concerning African nations underscore their spiritual and historical significance. Egypt and Ethiopia are recurrently mentioned in biblical prophecy, symbolizing Africa's spiritual importance. Isaiah, a prophet in the 8th century BC Kingdom of Judah, prophesied about the rise and fall of numerous nations, with Egypt and Ethiopia prominently featured in his prophecies. In these biblical passages, like Isaiah 19:19-20, the prophet foresees a time when an altar to the Lord will be erected in the heart of Egypt, and a monument to the Lord will stand at its border. This prophecy suggests a spiritual revival or transformation within Egypt. In Isaiah 20, the prophet also predicts a time when Egyptians and Ethiopians will be captured, signaling geopolitical changes in these regions. However, these prophecies concerning Egypt and Ethiopia don't solely focus on doom and destruction. For example, in Isaiah 18:7, there's a prophecy about Ethiopia, where God acknowledges the offerings made by the Ethiopians. Moreover, in Isaiah 19:24-25, there's a prophecy about Egypt's future redemption. It declares that Israel will be united with Egypt and Assyria as a blessing in the land. The Lord will bless them, saying, "Blessed is Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance." Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. What's more, there are various incidents that make Africa the nexus of all human development and the place where major changes occurred that changed humankind. One of them is the Simon of Cyrene. Cyrene was an ancient city in modern-day Libya, North Africa, known for its thriving Jewish community. Simon briefly appears in the New Testament narrative, as described in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew 27:32, Mark 15:21, and Luke 23:26. He was the man compelled by the Romans to carry Jesus' cross as he journeyed to his crucifixion. Despite his brief appearance, Simon's act has become symbolic of Christian discipleship and the idea of bearing one's cross, making him a significant figure in the Christian tradition. Another intriguing character from the African continent is the Ethiopian eunuch, introduced in Acts 8:26-40. This individual, a high-ranking court official under Candace, Queen of the Ethiopians, embarked on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem for worship. On his return journey, he encountered Philip the Evangelist, who explained the prophecies of Isaiah to him, leading to his baptism and conversion to Christianity. What's more, the Old Testament books, like Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, present facts about African wisdom, which is deeply ingrained in the continent's customs and heritage. It has long served as a reservoir of knowledge, shaping societal norms, values, and behavior. Expressed through oral traditions, proverbs, folklore, and philosophical teachings, African wisdom has left its mark on the wisdom literature found in the Bible. For example, the Book of Proverbs consists of wise sayings advising readers on righteous living, prudence, and reverence for God. While many of these proverbs are attributed to King Solomon, it's worth noting that Solomon's encounter with the Queen of Sheba, a significant African figure, likely influenced his wisdom. Similarly, using proverbs to convey profound truths is widespread in numerous African cultures, suggesting a potential connection. Ecclesiastes, another wisdom text, explores philosophical reflections on the meaning of life, human existence, and the pursuit of enlightenment. Some of the philosophical themes echoed in Ecclesiastes, such as the fleeting nature of earthly pursuits and the acknowledgement of a higher divine purpose, resonate with teachings found in African wisdom traditions. Further exploration into the African origins of humanity involves studying texts like the Book of Enoch, attributed to Enoch, Noah's great-grandfather. This ancient Jewish religious text offers a unique perspective on the pre-flood world, fallen angels, and prophecy. The association of Enoch with Ethiopia lends credibility to the idea that these encounters and teachings occurred within an African context. Enoch's narrative, with its mystical journeys and divine encounters, provides insights into cosmic mysteries and divine judgments, reflecting African spiritual traditions that emphasize direct communion with the divine. Additionally, the concept of the Watchers or fallen angels introduced in the Book of Enoch, who shared knowledge with humanity, suggests potential ancient interactions between advanced civilizations and indigenous African tribes. Enoch's prophecies, particularly those concerning judgment and cosmic justice, resonate with several African wisdom traditions, highlighting the consequences of ethical conduct and transgressions. While not officially part of the biblical canon, texts like the Emerald Tablets shed light on Africa's rich intellectual and spiritual legacy, notably in ancient Egypt. The Emerald Tablets offer mysterious verses, teeming with allegories and profound metaphysical insights. Credited to Thoth, these tablets provide a thorough outlook on reality from an ancient perspective. They delve into profound themes like the essence of existence, the cosmic structure, principles of harmony and balance, laws of causality, and the exploration of divine essence. The wisdom contained in the Emerald Tablets resonates harmoniously with various traditions of wisdom originating from Africa. From the ancient Egyptian principle of Ma'at, symbolizing truth, balance, order, and harmony, to the Hermetic axiom as above, so below, hinting at a connected cosmos and earthly life, these teachings reflect the influence of African philosophical thought. Moreover, the Emerald Tablets indicate the lost civilization of Atlantis and its downfall, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of disharmony and knowledge misuse. While steeped in myth and legend, these narratives find echoes in African oral traditions, which often convey warnings about societal imbalance and disunity. Then comes Apocrypha, a compilation of biblical texts not typically included in the standard canon. Ancient texts, often overlooked, reveal deep connections to the African continent and its impact on early biblical literature. The Apocrypha, meaning hidden in Greek, includes various books, letters, and wisdom literature that formed part of the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. Among the notable texts within the Apocrypha is the Wisdom of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. Penned by Jesus ben Sirach in the 2nd century BCE, this remarkable work offers a comprehensive collection of moral teachings, ethical guidelines, and sage advice. The themes explored in the Wisdom of Sirach resonate with the core values prevalent in African wisdom traditions, emphasizing respect for ancestors and the significance of communal solidarity. Now, all this proves that Africa really is the cradle of humankind, and early humans first arose in this land. But it's yet to be seen who was the first time and how it emerged for the very first time in Africa. The evolution of humans from ape-like ancestors is an enthralling journey spanning millions of years. While pinpointing a single first human remains elusive, scientists have identified crucial stages in the progression of our species, Homo sapiens, from earlier hominins. Approximately 6 to 7 million years ago, our lineage diverged from that of chimpanzees, our distant relatives. As time passed, hominin species emerged, each with its unique traits and adaptations. One of the earliest known hominins, Sahelanthropus tichidensis, dates back roughly 7 million years in present-day Chad, Africa. Though its exact place in our evolutionary tale is debated, Sahelanthropus is considered a plausible candidate for an ancient human ancestor. Another significant player in human evolution is Ardipithecus, emerging around 4.4 million years ago. Ardipithecus ramidus, discovered in Ethiopia, is among the earliest hominins to walk upright, a pivotal characteristic likely providing advantages in various environments. Australopithecus afarensis, exemplified by the famous fossil Lucy, thrived some 3 to 4 million years ago in East Africa. Australopithecines like Lucy displayed a mix of ape-like and human-like traits, including small brain sizes, yet evidence of walking on two legs. This species acts as a crucial link between earlier hominins and the Homo genus. The Homo genus, including modern humans and extinct species such as Homo habilis and Homo erectus, emerged around 2 to 3 million years ago. Homo habilis, existing roughly 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago, notably crafted and utilized stone tools, marking a significant step forward in technological and cultural development. Anatomically modern humans, Homo sapiens, emerged around 200,000 to 300,000 years ago in Africa. This species boasted larger brains and more sophisticated tools and cultural practices. The exact factors driving the emergence of Homo sapiens, including environmental pressures and social and cognitive developments, remain subjects of ongoing research and debate. But how did early humans like Lucy live? Well, probably formed social groups, as evidenced by the discovery of multiple individuals in close proximity at various archaeological sites. Social interactions were vital for survival, offering protection against predators and assistance in obtaining food and caring for offspring. While the specifics of their social structure remain speculative, assuming some level of cooperation and communication within their groups is reasonable. Similar to modern primates, Australopithecus afarensis lived in family units, with females caring for offspring and males potentially providing protection and resources. Evidence suggests Lucy was female, indicated by her pelvic anatomy, which is consistent with bipedal locomotion and childbirth. They lived in small family groups or larger social communities, collaborating in child-rearing and other activities. As omnivores, Australopithecus afarensis, including Lucy, consumed a mix of plant and animal foods. Their diet included fruits, leaves, seeds, nuts, insects, and occasionally small animals. Foraging for food in the environment, they utilized their bipedal locomotion for navigation and resource searching. Unlike later periods, stone tools were not yet utilized during Lucy's time, so obtaining food involved gathering and scavenging rather than hunting. It should be noted that Lucy did not build permanent structures like modern humans. They probably sought shelter in natural features such as caves, rock overhangs, or dense vegetation, providing protection from the elements and potential predators. However, no evidence suggests the construction of elaborate shelters or dwellings. Lucy led a lifestyle focused on survival in the African environment. Much of her time would have been spent foraging for food, socializing within the group, caring for offspring, and seeking shelter. Their existence was closely tied to the natural rhythms, with daily activities dictated by the availability of food, water, and resources. While simpler than modern humans, Australopithecus afarensis, including Lucy, were successful and adaptable creatures, paving the way for the evolutionary journey leading to our species, Homo sapiens. But a question arises where? Why do humans only emerge in Africa and not in any other part of the world? Well, the very fact that humans first emerged in Africa manifests that Africa provided what apes needed to evolve into humans. Africa's distinctive environmental conditions offered a diverse range of habitats, including forests, savannas, and river valleys. These varied ecosystems provided abundant food resources and diverse ecological niches, promoting opportunities for evolutionary experimentation and adaptation among early hominins. The stability and richness of Africa's environments facilitated the development of complex social structures, cognitive abilities, and technological innovations necessary for human evolution. Africa's geographic features, including deserts, mountains, and bodies of water, served as natural barriers, isolating populations of early hominins and encouraging genetic divergence. Isolated populations could undergo independent evolutionary processes, leading to the emergence of distinct lineages and species that could not develop in another location. This isolation facilitated the development of unique adaptations and characteristics among African hominins. It should be known that Africa has witnessed significant climatic fluctuations over millions of years, from periods of aridity to wetter conditions. These climatic changes imposed selective pressures on early hominins, prompting adaptations to new environmental conditions. Adapting to changing climates would have been crucial for survival and reproductive success, favoring those populations with traits conducive to survival in African environments. Africa's diverse ecosystems sustained rich food resources, such as fruits, nuts, seeds, tubers, and game animals. Access to plentiful and varied food sources would have been vital for the survival and expansion of early hominin populations. Food availability influenced dietary patterns, social behavior, and cultural practices among early humans, contributing to their evolutionary success. What's more, Africa was home to a diverse range of megafauna, including large herbivores and carnivores. Interactions with these animals influenced the behavior and evolution of early hominins. For instance, competition with large predators spurred the development of social cooperation and group living strategies for protection. Additionally, opportunities for scavenging provided by carnivore kills affected early hominin foraging behavior and dietary patterns. Early hominins' social and cognitive abilities facilitated cultural innovation and technological advancement. Africa's rich cultural heritage, exemplified by the discovery of stone tools and other artifacts, suggests that early humans were adept at complex behaviors and environmental adaptations. The development of tools and other cultural innovations augmented early hominins' ability to exploit their surroundings and adapt to changing environmental conditions, contributing to their evolutionary success. But isn't it true that apes were present in other parts of the world? Then, why did those apes not evolve into humans? Well, the biogeography of apes sheds light on their evolutionary history. African apes, like chimpanzees and gorillas, predominantly inhabit sub-Saharan Africa, while orangutans are indigenous to Southeast Asia, particularly Borneo and Sumatra. This geographic separation implies distinct evolutionary paths and adaptations to local environments. Each ape species has developed unique traits suited to their habitats. African apes have specialized characteristics for forest life, such as arboreal locomotion and foraging behaviors. Conversely, orangutans have adapted to tropical rainforests, relying heavily on tree-dwelling behaviors, and possessing robust arm and hand morphology for climbing. Even climate change has historically influenced species distribution and evolution. Like the Pleistocene epoch, periods of climatic instability led to habitat fragmentation and range shifts among ape populations. These changes likely affected the evolutionary trajectories of apes, potentially constraining adaptation in certain regions. Evolutionary processes are influenced not only by environmental factors, but also by biological constraints. Genetic factors, reproductive barriers, and ecological interactions play crucial roles. For example, genetic compatibility and reproductive isolation between ape species may have restricted gene flow and hybridization events in specific geographic areas. Therefore, even though apes were present in various locations worldwide, the African apes faced competition and had to evolve. Isn't it true that Africa is the cradle of humanity, the place where the first human was born? What do you think about why the West rejects this? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on whether Europeans are a different race or are just the same as Africans. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.